They thought she was just another civilian, but when the chaos started, no one expected what she would do next. If you love jaw-dropping real-life stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more. Sarah had always been quiet and unassuming, the kind of woman who blended into any crowd. She lived alone in a small apartment on the outskirts of town, worked at the local grocery store, and kept her personal life to herself. No one could have guessed that years ago she had trained under one of the most legendary SWAT officers in the country, learning every skill from close-quarters combat, tactical movement, firearms, mastery, and strategic thinking under extreme pressure. She never spoke about it, not even to her closest friends. It was a life she had left behind voluntarily, choosing normalcy over notoriety. That morning, the town seemed peaceful, the sun barely cresting the horizon, birds chirping softly, but Sarah sensed something off, a subtle tension in the air. She noticed a van parked unusually long near the corner convenience store, and her instincts tingled. A feeling she could never ignore. When the black van doors flew open, 3 masked men emerged, armed and dangerous. The first thing Sarah saw was the fear in the cashier's eyes. The second was the young boy clutching his mother. The third was the elderly man who froze with his hands trembling as the men barked orders. She moved without panic, almost invisible in her calm. The world seemed to slow for her as she calculated angles, cover points, exits, and potential threats. The robbers moved methodically, each step revealing more about their personalities. The tallest one with a scarred hand was clearly the leader. He shouted commands in a clipped, sharp voice. The youngest was nervous, fidgeting, and scanning the store constantly. The third was silent, calculating, weighing his options carefully. Sarah watched them all, memorizing the small details that most people would ignore. She saw the flicker of a tattoo on the neck of one, a nervous habit of cracking his knuckles before drawing a weapon. She noted every sound, the slight shift of weight, the subtle glance toward the windows. She knew if she acted recklessly, lives could be lost. She moved slowly to the edge of the aisle, close enough to see their movements but hidden from their sight. She whispered to the terrified child, "Stay calm. Follow me, no sudden movements, trust me." Her voice was calm but firm, and the boy obeyed without hesitation. Every second counted, and she knew exactly how much time she had before one of the men noticed her presence. The store was filled with tension, the kind that made every heartbeat loud, every breath noticeable. She remained hyper-aware, watching as the leader waved his gun, threatening the cashier, and Sarah silently planned her first move, timing everything precisely. Sarah could feel the tension tightening in the air. Every second felt like a minute. She knew she had to act, and every movement had to be precise. She crouched slightly behind the shelf, analyzing the robbers like a chess master, calculating moves in advance. The leader was focused on the cashier. The nervous one fidgeted near the doorway, unsure of which exit to use, and the silent one held his gun in a way that showed he was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She reached into her bag, slowly pulling out a small tactical flash device designed to disorient temporarily, a tool she had carried for emergencies. It was compact but powerful enough to give her the advantage. She threw it toward the center of the group, timing it to detonate. When all 3 robbers were at the optimal distance, the device exploded with a sudden burst of light and deafening noise, startling them and giving her the opening she needed. In that instant she moved like a shadow, her training taking over every move, deliberate and calculated. She ran toward the nearest man, using his own momentum against him, twisting his arm in a precise motion that forced him off balance and down to the floor. Without causing serious harm, the other 2 were disoriented but recovering quickly. She calculated her next step. The leader raised his gun, aiming for the cashier, but Sarah had already assessed his movement. She slid behind a low shelf, popping up to redirect his aim toward an empty corner. Using a combination of verbal commands and controlled maneuvers, she was effectively hurting predators. She instructed the customers to the exit, keep low, move fast, stay together, and they followed every instruction as if her calm presence grounded them. The young boy clutched his mother, but obeyed perfectly, guided by Sarah's steady hand. The nervous robber tried to regain control, but Sarah anticipated his every move. A feint to the left drew him in, and she used a simple but effective wristlock to disarm him completely. The silent one made a sudden dash toward the exit, but Sarah had already mapped escape routes, and she intercepted him with precise footwork, pushing him back into a corner where he could do no harm. Every step she took minimized risk to the civilians while maximizing control over the situation. Her mind was a whirlwind of calculations, angles, distances, timing. She thought about the leader, the safest way to neutralize him without escalating danger. She approached slowly, keeping her hands visible and calm. Her words were measured, easy to follow. She knew panic could cost lives. She instructed him step by step, and eventually he complied, allowing her to subdue him using minimal force. The entire ordeal that could have ended in tragedy instead unfolded like a controlled rescue mission. Within minutes, the local police arrived, sirens blaring, and chaos dissipating, they froze in awe. As they saw the robbers secured and civilians unharmed, they looked at Sarah in disbelief. She handed over the suspects with calm efficiency, explaining only the essential details. The cashier, the young boy, and the elderly man clung to her, trembling in gratitude. Everyone in the store whispered to each other, astonished that this quiet, unassuming woman had transformed a life-threatening situation into a controlled rescue without a single uniformed officer giving orders. The story spread rapidly through the small town. People called her a hero. Strangers who witnessed the events said they had never seen such precision, courage, and calm under fire. The media arrived, but she smiled quietly, keeping the details of her SWAT training private. She let her actions speak louder than words, but those who watched knew they had seen something extraordinary, something that would be remembered for a long time. The town slowly began to calm down. The sirens faded in the distance, and people started to emerge from hiding, still shaken but safe, their eyes searching for the woman who had turned potential tragedy into a story of heroism. Sarah stood quietly near the doorway, watching as the neighbors hugged one another and whispered in awe. She didn't seek recognition, yet the impact of her actions was undeniable. She had saved lives, not with brute force, but with precise control, calculated moves, and the calm that only comes from true mastery. Under pressure, it was a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary strength comes from the most unexpected people. The young boy clutched his mother's hand, looking back at Sarah with wide eyes full of wonder. The cashier slowly wiped tears from her face, murmuring thanks over and over, while the elderly man, still trembling, nodded silently, as if words could never capture his gratitude. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what had just happened, and yet there was no pride in her eyes, only quiet resolve. She had learned long ago that true strength was measured not by recognition, but by the lives you protect and the difference you make without anyone even realizing it. As reporters arrived, she smiled, politely keeping her story brief and simple, letting the evidence of her actions speak louder than words. And even in the chaos of cameras, microphones, and questions, she remained composed, calm, and focused. It was a final lesson to everyone watching that courage often comes silently, and the most extraordinary heroes are sometimes the ones you never see coming. So as you sit there watching this story unfold, remember that ordinary people can have extraordinary skills, and that sometimes it only takes one single move, one moment of courage to change the course of many lives. If this story inspired you, shocked you, or made your heart race, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned, because the next story could be even more unbelievable and even closer to home. Remember, share this video with your friends and family, because stories like this deserve to be heard and remembered. And always keep in mind that real heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they are walking among us quietly, observing, learning, and ready to act when it matters. The most asterisk: if this story amazed you, shocked you, or kept your heart racing, make sure you don't miss the next unbelievable real-life story. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to see it every time we post a new video. And share this video with everyone you know, because stories like this deserve to be told and remembered. The world is full of people with extraordinary courage, hidden in plain sight, and by subscribing you'll get to witness more of these jaw-dropping moments that will leave you questioning what you thought you knew about ordinary people. And don't forget to leave a comment down below, telling us what you would do if you were in her shoes. We read every comment, and your story might even inspire the next video. Also give this video a like if it made you sit on the edge of your seat. Your support helps us create even more content like this, and if you want to see even more unbelievable stories that will shock you, amaze you, and touch with us,